Welcome back to Mom Sips and Dips. We're back. Yes, and we're so excited about it.
I know, right? So it's way too long.
Yes, it's been a long time.
We tried to do the whole Zoom, distance thing, but it was just
that's a lot. It's just not as fun as being in person.
Yeah, and some of us weren't feeling well.
I was not feeling well at all.
Did you get COVID?
I did not. I did in fact get pregnant though. Caught that bug.
So COVID, baby.
Yeah, that's another reason we have not been filming, because I was not up to it.
Mm-hmm.
This pregnancy has been quite drastically different from my first. So, yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Wow.
How's it been different?
I've been so sick, like unbelievably, like the morning sickness. And with my son, I only had like 3 weeks of that from I think it was like week 7 or 8 till like 11 or 12. And it was not, it still sucked, but it wasn't anything compared to what I just experienced. And it was literally I would say like a week after I found out I was pregnant, because I was like, oh, I still feel great. This is gonna be just like with Bobby. It's gonna be amazing. No, it was all day, all night. Even with medication, I did not feel good. Just puking, it was not fun. Like, I was barely able to function. And I was barely able to parent, which was especially hard, for sure. There was a lot of guilt associated with that, which I did not expect. So.
Yeah. Well, to start, let's talk about we've been in this COVID thing, and how did that work with finding out you're pregnant, going to your first appointments, that kind of stuff. How was it different than the first time?
Well, with my first pregnancy, my husband, because he's always been very hands-on with everything with our son, he went to every single appointment. And he likes doing stuff like that. And he was not allowed to go, and that was very upsetting for us both. And I actually, because I've got thyroid problems too, I also had to go to the endocrinologist before I even saw the OBGYN. And because we just didn't have enough information as far as everything with COVID, I was a wreck. And of course, because it had just started, the news was on our TV 24/7, because my husband wanted to keep up to date with it, and my anxiety level was like,
I hope we can flash the picture of you in your mask.
oh yeah, I'll see if I can get him to insert that. My husband, about 6 years ago, bought flu. So he went through this whole survival thing, and so we have a survival bunker, and he learned to make shelters outdoors and do all kinds of stuff. He bought this very expensive flu pandemic mask. It has it looks like a gas mask. It has a two-way valve thing. It was ridiculous. And when he bought that, I was so angry with him, because he told me how it was a couple $100s for one. He bought 2 of them, and I was like, why do we need these? Well, you know what? He was right. Listen, that's the first time I was ever that ridiculous purchase was worth it. That was, I was so glad he had it. And I went to my appointment with that, and it was so crazy, because it was at Piedmont in Atlanta, and there was there's armed police officers at every door. You could only go in one way. You had to sign in, and they had to make sure you had an appointment there. And normally at those doctor's appointments, there's 30 people in the waiting room with me, and I was one of 3. So that was nice. So, because I cried. And I'm not a big crier. I mean, I cry a little bit, but
Well, the news was making everything very scary.
It was very scary. So the 3 days before, I was calling and texting you and 2 of my other girlfriends, and I was like, I don't want to go. And I was like, I'm gonna get corona, and I'm gonna kill my father-in-law who lives with us, because he's got COPD. And I was like, ah. And it was totally fine. So
you look cute in your mask.
It covers my entire face like this, yeah. Which is actually wearing the mask isn't because I haven't been wearing any makeup, so it's nobody knows what you look like.
That's
from
very fancy.
Here down. Yeah, so I looked ridiculous,
yeah. But when you had your pregnancy confirmed, and the first little ultrasound, you're by yourself.
Oh yeah, and that was a little bothersome to me, besides just that I was by myself, because I really enjoy having my husband there. I had to switch to a different OBGYN because I had different insurance So that was upset. So I was at a new place and I didn't know the nurses and the doctors and I was uncomfortable and they did things totally different from how my other OBGYN did it. So I was just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. In addition to all the other stuff you're already doing that's way different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to say I didn't enjoy my first appointment. I just didn't. When it and I feel like everything with COVID made it not as exciting for me as as the first one did, because there was just so much fear. And I also, you know, you have the normal thoughts of, you know, I just want to make it to the end of my first trimester because, you know, that's when you can miscarry. And I had a situation with a family member close to home that had had 2 miscarriages. So that was like in the back of my mind. And there was a coronavirus and everything's different. So it just, I don't know. I feel like the beginning just wasn't as joyful as I would have liked for it to have been. But I'm feeling good about it now.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, they're throwing out information before they have all the information.
Yeah.
You know, like babies are being born premature because of COVID. Like, where are you getting this information from?
Yeah.
Where are the studies? And, you know, all this kind of stuff. So I'm watching it on that end as a doula, you know, not able to join my clients in doctor's appointments or in their hospital births during this whole thing. But you know, this is something you're really looking forward to, being able to, you know, have your second, find out what it is, and get it confirmed with the ultrasound, and Bob wasn't able to join you.
Yeah, and we've been trying, so it's like something I had built up for. Like, I was excited, like I was ready.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, I don't want to say a letdown, because I don't, like the pregnancy was still a great thing for me, but it just wasn't what I had hoped the beginning would feel like, unfortunately. But
So how did you experience the first couple months versus the first time with Bob? Like, how has it been different?
well, when I was pregnant with my son, I was working at the time. So that, I mean, that was a little different. I stay home now, which is still another full-time job, but and it makes me more tired. That was the other thing I didn't expect was, so my schedule is different. You know, obviously when you don't already have a child and you're pregnant, you can lay down whenever you want. Like, I didn't feel guilty being like, oh, hey babe, I'm just gonna go take a nap, but you know, I'm real tired. I didn't feel like I had that same luxury, even though he's really great. He was like, you know, if you ever need to lay down or you don't feel good, like, just go, like, I've got it, it's fine. And, you know, I hate to say it, thankfully we were completely quarantined. He couldn't go anywhere, so I didn't feel as guilty about it when he did have to take him. But I was so sick. I probably had 2 weeks where I barely left my bed because I felt so nauseous and I was so miserable, and it just, like, I could not function. And like I said, I had a lot of that guilt because, you know, my son, he's, you know, about to be 2.5, so he's very active. He likes to play, and I just could not get it together. Yeah. I told my husband, I was like, I'm thankful that I'm staying at home right now and that you're home, because if I had to go to, like, I wouldn't have been able to go to work. Like, I just would not have been able to do. And so, I mean, there was that, and it was
limitations on, and you felt bad.
Yeah, the like the guilt really, like, that threw me for a loop. Like, I texted Maggie a lot about it, and I was just like, you know, like, I feel like a terrible mom, and everyone I've talked to who has multiple children says they've experienced the same thing. And even though people tell you that, it still doesn't make me feel any less guilty. Like, even though it's totally normal, and I know he's not going to remember, you know, me not playing trucks with him, you know, for a couple months. Because, I mean, the reality was, I was sick up until a couple weeks ago, so it was.
And you felt better in the afternoon, so it wasn't like you were like.
I did, yeah. Towards the end of my first, I started to get some relief in the afternoon, so that was nice. Yeah.
But you're allowed to be sick.
I know. I just wasn't, and I guess I didn't anticipate how much more tired you are with a toddler.
Yeah.
Because he just he goes, and, you know, that's what I'm used to, and all of a sudden I just couldn't do that. And you know, now, like, when he takes an afternoon nap, which I'm not gonna lie, I've always laid down with him when he's taking an afternoon nap. I'm not like the one who's like, I'm gonna go clean or do dishes. That's not me. I take a nap when he naps, but usually I would, like, watch Netflix or something, or just tinker around on my phone. No. I take a nap with him, and I still do it. I did it today.
That's good.
I took an hour and 45-minute nap, and it was
And it's
glorious.
okay for your children to see you sick and not feel good and not have this like, my mom's super mom and she does it all and she doesn't need anybody or anything, and she, you know, it's okay for you to.
Yeah, it was nice for him and my husband to have that extra time together. Like my husband works from home, so he does get extra time with him already, but they really, they got like boy on boy time and
Fishing.
like I felt like he got more comfortable taking him like to go. We weren't going out places. He's got some family property that has like a lake where he would take him fishing, whereas before he wouldn't do it that often, you know, because he had stuff to do during the afternoon, and I would usually take him to different activities. So he started doing more of that stuff, and I feel like it gave him a comfort level that he hasn't had. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So nice. I remember like with my first pregnancy, I was like all excited. I think we had a name for Maddie by the time she was 8 weeks. By the time I was 8 weeks pregnant, and I was picking out layettes and colors and all that kind of stuff with my first pregnancy. And then with my second one, it was like, I was miserable. The dogs made me crazy. I was chasing around a toddler.
Yeah.
I was tired, and I was not as happy and excited to be pregnant. I was excited for my son, but I was not as excited and looking forward and planning like I was. That's
how I feel. Okay, that's
Yeah.
exactly the same. I still have not bought one thing.
Have you picked anything? Like colors and...
Well, I have started after, because you had mentioned to me about the nursery, and then I had a girlfriend who, she's also pregnant. She's a little bit farther along than me, and she had sent pictures, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get on Pinterest and look around. So I started looking, and I did finally pick some stuff out. I haven't bought anything yet, because I'm like, it's still a little early. Like, I've got time to do it. But I do, like, I have like everything picked out that I want to buy. I just need to go ahead and buy it. Just waiting till we're kind of in the middle of doing some like home stuff right now, so I wanted to wait until we got done with that, and then.
And their announcement was like the best I've ever seen. Hopefully, we can flash that one on.
I'm hoping he can put it on there. If not, maybe I'll see if I can get him to put it at the end.
As our cover photo or something, like, oh my gosh, it's a total like pandemic, like zombie apocalypse.
I have a bow and arrow. He photoshopped a gun in. He doesn't have a gun in front of my top. He did that, and I was like, Bobby. I was like, do you think that's appropriate?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. We like doing, so we always do like crazy Christmas cards and stuff like that. And we did a fun Game of Thrones announcement. So we were like, we've got to think of something good to like back up that. And
so now that you're further along, how are you feeling now?
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better. And another thing that's different is with this pregnancy is if I don't eat like every 2 to 3 hours, I get sick, and it ruins the rest of my day. Like, I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
So as long as I eat like pretty consistently, I feel great. My energy's coming back. I haven't gotten great back into working out like I should, but I'll get
great.
there. I'm doing Pilates. Well, it's hard because
some of us are on the quarantine 15 team.
The gyms are just starting to open back up and stuff like that. And I was doing jiu-jitsu before, and I was so sick, I couldn't have gone back even if they were open, and I was having some issues with my hips too. That was another thing that clued me into that I might be pregnant. So my hips just all of a sudden were like popping out of joint, were like hurt so bad, and that lasted a couple weeks too. That was a little weird.
Yeah. And on our first couple of videos, we talked about how relaxin affects the body.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where it just kind of makes you extra limber.
Oh,
and
my hips are like...
Yeah. And because you can move further than your body should move, it causes pain.
Yeah. So I actually had to stop going to my gym that I was going to at the time, because I was like, I don't know what's going on with my back and my hips. Like, I can't... I was going to go see the doctor, and then I found out I was pregnant, and they're better, but it's still like not, they're still a little loosey-goosey. Won't be doing any jiu-jitsu anytime soon.
During
after
your
the
second
baby.
trimester, it should be better, and then it kind of gets worse again in the third trimester.
Yeah.
But you're doing Pilates, right?
Yeah, I'm doing Pilates twice a week, and I'm hoping to get in the gym to at least go like swimming or walking or like, doing like, weights or something like that. And nothing crazy. Just because I just don't want to.
So I was watching our previous video in preparation for this one, and you'd mentioned a couple things you were going to do different. Have you been thinking about like what you're going to do different, like this time versus last time? I mean, obviously, when you have your first one, you're afraid you're going to break them, and are there things that you're going to do different or plan to do different with this first one?
Well, I am excited. I'm hoping to be less fearful. Like I've talked about before, I do feel like I limited a lot of my activities and places I went because I was just scared. So I'm excited to kind of get out and do, more with the baby and my son, and maybe not that I didn't enjoy it, because I loved like getting like all the different stages, but hopefully that makes it even more enjoyable for me. But I'm trying to think as far as doing anything else different. Will I do a baby book? Probably not again. Probably not.
You'll get it done in 15 years, I promise.
Sure.
Well, this has been super fun getting back together with you for another episode of Mom Sips and Tips.
I'm so excited to be together again.
Yeah, we can't wait to talk more with you guys. So like, subscribe, comment, share.
Yes, with all your friends.
No hate.
No, or you're blocked.
Cheers.
Cheers.